While it would be great if you could go from day to day inventing and always doing the right thing, that's not how the world works. In the end, we all make mistakes or do things that we later regret. Stupidity is a philosophy, but in practice, it's a set of rules for living. The Stoics thought that life was hard and full of tests, so they made rules to help us stay on the right path. In this video, I'll talk about 11 historical rules that I set for myself to become the best version of myself. These rules were made by Stoic philosophers over 2,000 years ago and have helped many people throughout history. So, stay tuned until the end to learn all of them and use them in your own life. Before we start, I'd appreciate it if you like the video so you can help me keep spreading this philosophy. You should subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already, so you don't miss any video. Rule 1. Take over your mornings. One of the best parts of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is the conversation he has with himself at the start of Book 5. He knows he needs to get up, but he really wants to stay in bed. This is not only easy to understand but also very relatable. Many emperors before Marcus Aurelius had given up their duties as rulers so they could enjoy life to the fullest. However, Marcus Aurelius resisted these temptations and got his work done very early in the morning because he knew that winning the morning was the key to winning the day and winning in life. He probably hadn't heard of the saying, "The early bird catches the worm," but he did know that a day well started was a productive day. Here are 3 things I do to have a productive morning. 1. As soon as I wake up, I write down the things I need to do that day. 2. I write down what I did well and what I could do better. 3. I make it a habit to write in my book every morning and think about my life. It helps me remember what I need to do and how I need to act. Rule 2. Do sports. They don't have to be very hard. By doing sports, I mean getting up and moving around. You can go for a walk, work out at the gym, or run. Anything that gets your body moving will wake you up, calm your mind, and get you ready for the third action. Rule 3. Pay attention to work. After the first 2 steps, I'm ready to concentrate on the job at hand. Rule 4. Pay attention to what you can change. The Stoic focus on the things we can control and forgetting about the things we can't control is very important. Knowing this will help you be more realistic and waste less time thinking about things that don't need it. When you realize this, you will be able to avoid many frustrating and painful situations and know what to focus on in order to reach your goals. For example, in sports, you control how you play but not whether you win, whether your opponent is respectful, or whether the crowd cheers you on. If you realize this and start focusing on your game instead of the others, you will probably do better. Do the same thing in every part of your life. Rule 5. Don't suffer for things that haven't happened. It's normal to think about bad things that might happen when we don't know what will happen next. But if we really think about it, most of the bad things we think might happen never do. As Seneca said, we are more scared than hurt, and we suffer more from our imaginations than from reality. Rule 6. Treat success and failure the same. Marcus Aurelius used an interesting comparison when he said that all men are like a rock. He would throw the rock up in the air and say it remains the same rock whether it goes up or down. The day may start with a raise and end with a layoff, but you are still the same person. In fact, bad things happen to us more often than good things, which makes them even more useful. Being thankful for everything that happens to you, good or bad, is important because you are the same no matter what and can learn from everything. Rule 7. Do only one thing every day. This rule shouldn't be taken literally. By doing one thing every day, I mean 2 situations. 1. People who don't have any goals should focus on one small goal to reach every day. Living a life without goals can turn an amazing life into a mediocre one. 2. People who have a lot of goals should have big dreams but remember to take one step at a time. This rule says that if you think about too many things at once, you might lose sight of what's really important. I want you to try to reach at least one goal you set for yourself every day. It doesn't matter how simple or hard the goal is, just do your best to reach it. There is no easy way to achieve anything worthwhile in life. If you look at the biographies of successful people, you will see that they built their success through hard work and discipline. The difference between those who achieve great goals and those who don't is their willingness to put in the effort and sacrifice. Rule 8. Ask yourself if it is necessary. Take a moment to think about the things you do and want in your life and ask yourself, is this necessary? You will be surprised at how many things you do and want in your life that you don't need. We waste a lot of time on things that don't help us. How do we know if what we're doing is important? Ask yourself why you do the things you do and come up with a good reason. If you can't find that important reason, it might not be necessary. Rule 9. Love your destiny. Things don't always go the way we want them to. That's just the way life is. Seneca said that fortune acts as it pleases, and his own life was proof of that. He had health problems that ended his political career, and the emperor sent him into exile. He managed to return only to have the same thing happen to him again. Almost everything was out of Seneca's control. All that was up to him was how he chose to see those events and what he did with them. He chose to see them as good things. You will go through both good and bad things in life. It is up to you to choose how to handle them, to look for the good in things that happen or to live a life full of sorrow. Rule 10. Talk to death. Zeno of Cyprus, the founder of Stoicism, went to see the oracle after losing all his money to get ideas for what to do next. The oracle told him that to live a good life, he had to read the works of philosophers who had lived before him. Reading is a great skill because it lets you read the thoughts and opinions of people who lived thousands of years ago. We live in a world where new things come out all the time, which makes us forget about the old. There's nothing wrong with new things coming out, but we shouldn't forget how much important information is written in books. We have the power to talk to the greatest minds of the past, and their knowledge can guide us and help us in our lives. The worst thing is that millions of people around the world choose to ignore this superpower. Take advantage of it. This is easier than ever thanks to the internet. It's important to remember that the Stoics had strict rules about what is right and wrong, but, and this is a big but, we have to understand and forgive those who have been, as Marcus Aurelius writes, turned away from the truth. This doesn't mean we should let people act unfairly or wickedly, but we also don't have to judge everyone who doesn't behave exactly the way we want them to. That's why setting a good example is the best thing we can do. If you want to show someone they are acting wrong, act right yourself and show them. This is the best way to change someone's mind and make an effect. It may take a while, but they will start to copy you. Rule 11. Live while you can. According to Seneca, we make the big mistake of thinking that we are looking forward to death when, in reality, most of it has already happened. He said that time that has passed is the property of death. We tend to see death as something far away. We think of it as something that will happen to us at some point in our lives, no matter what date it happens. We approach it slowly or quickly depending on our age and health. Seneca thought that this was a wrong way of thinking about death that led to many bad habits and a bad life. Instead, he said that death was something that was happening to us right now. Even as you watch this video, time is passing that you will never get back. He said that death is not in the distance, it is with us right now. It is the second hand of the clock, it's sunset time, and death claims every moment that has passed. What are we to do about it? The answer is to live while you can. Don't put things off, finish what you start, and make the most of the time you have left. What did you think of these stories and rules? Would you add any more? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. I try to follow these rules in my own life. It's not always easy, and I often forget, so I write them down somewhere to remind myself. Stoicism isn't an easy path, just like life. It takes a lot of work and discipline, but it's worth it. I'll see you soon.